Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Fandom Empire Live, April the 6th, 2021, Tuesday night, just after 9 o'clock here outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. This is Season 3, Episode 3. Tonight we're going to talk about a whole lot of things. Resident Evil, though, is going to be first and foremost tonight. We'll dive into your Halloween fix at some point. Mainly video game related, though, when it comes to Halloween tonight. And so much more. We got some wrestling on the slate for this evening, which is a change of pace. And those of you that are like, oh my God, they're going to preview WrestleMania. No. Couldn't care less. Two other guys on this show probably do care, but not me. We're also going to talk some Star Wars. Take a look at the surprising North American, let's be real, United States of America box office results from this past weekend. And maybe even touch on a little sports towards the end. We're going to open up the floor for some Q&A. And we're going to get to the other guys here in just a moment. I just want to remind everybody, Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, we have Fandom Empire Live. And we have Dave McRae and Bruce Dale coming on to talk about basically everything. But first and foremost, we're going to be focusing in on It's Me, Billy, and how the two of those met and dive into their history. And it'll be an interview similar to the way we did it with Lee. So looking forward to that. If you want to have your say on this show, feel free to comment in the chat. And if you want to be guaranteed to have your question and or comment read, feel free to send in a super chat. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. It allows us to do all these other things. Without further ado, though, the rest of the guys, Johnny Small. All right, let's fix Johnny. Hopefully this is not an issue going forward. Tommy B. What's happening, my bud? Oh, you're muted. One moment. What's happening?
Today was the first day back at work, and stuff had to go wrong. Oh, well.
Yeah, it turns out that can happen from time to time. I'm not sure how much longer I'll be at work to be. Oh, boy. Johnny is obviously having...
Johnny Biggs.
Yeah, he's having some connection
Johnny
issues
B
over
show.
there. The one I will say
That's
this.
what happened. I should bring an NWO shirt or something.
We're going to try to work with Johnny's issue as best as we can, but he might have to go audio only because we are not going to put up with the connection issues like we did.
Just keep him super tiny.
I think that's usually the option. All it takes is it's a Skype thing, right? So if Skype detects it's a Skype and Streamlabs thing. When you see it do that, he's having issues on his end. If it's on my end, it'll show on my end. If it's on Kieran's end, it'll show on Kieran's end. These things happen. So, yeah, we're going to re-add him in, and Johnny's going to be small. So it's just going to have to be the way it is. Because we're not putting out a shit quality like we did for FNN. That was a disaster, and we'll never... we got two Tommy B's now.
Oh, my God. Oh my God!
Me? Really?
See, that's how much
Two
we love
of me?
Tommy B.
Really?
See, that's how much we love Tommy B.
We got Micro Machine Johnny up there. We'll get to him in a second. Tommy B, you said first day back at work in a while. Why? Can you get into why it was shit?
Yeah, I could be real quick about that. So, basically a road closure at a very difficult spot really made me have to play with my school bus route. Had to do a back into a driveway to get turned around, although I have to do that a couple times a day anyway. Basically had to go right up to where they were parking their machinery and get flipped around, try not to hit a tree. Hoping it's a one-day thing, but, you just can never know with these things because no one wants to communicate anything. I got kids, right up to where that ends up being, so... It's funny because... Back on my old job where we lived up until about 2 years ago, they never wanted you to back into anything. But since I moved here, I've been doing it more and more and more and more. And I got better with some trial and error, thankfully.
Toronto Freddy's saying serious feedback with Kieran's end. There shouldn't be at this point. So let's go to Kieran here for a second. How's it going, man? Just fresh off of R&M.
Oh, yeah. Rick and Morty fan show actually went super good. I was really happy with it. I had lots of energy. I made sure to go and get an ice cap before so like I have so much energy, I don't even know what to do with it. And I had kind of a rough day. I had a little bit of a rough day because I just worked through the whole weekend. I got a 4-day weekend off from school, but I worked all four of those days at my group home job. So it was kind of a little bit crazy. I'm a little bit like burnt out on working all the time like crazy. And but no, it's all good to come in here. I'm always like. I'm glad to come in here and talk to you guys. This makes my day a lot of the time. So if it's something as simple as coming in here, chatting with you guys, chatting with the chat, that makes me happy, then that's all I need. It looks like we're getting a preview of Godzilla vs. Kong over in the top right there.
Yeah, we're having all sorts of issues. We're working on it though. I think Johnny's thing just corrected itself, so and then nope, and Johnny's right back at it. So we're just gonna try to work through it. That
just
should at
put
least,
him off in the corner.
Yeah, so he's sort of like looking over the ledge here randomly at Tommy, which is he's fucking, Wilson. It's Wilson.
It's okay because we're a horror show, so we can have this fucking creepy Johnny just fucking looking over top of Tommy.
They're saying
He's
it's only
watching.
echoing on Kieran, but that should not be the case. Toronto Freddy says we're good again. Fuck the Yankees. Yeah, how'd they do against the Jays? No, I mean, obviously the Yankees have all sorts of history.
A lot worse than they did against the Orioles.
Oh, really? The Orioles? Let me tell you something.
I'd like to point out the Orioles opened up 3-0. Neither the Yankees nor the Jays
against the Red Sox.
They were playing the Red Sox, but still, it's 3-0.
How sucky must it be to be a Red Sox fan right about now? Oof.
It is their worst. I actually said this to my pops yesterday. It's the worst start for the Red Sox since the year he was born, 1948.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we all knew they were going. That's a three-team division this year. Jays.
Oh no.
Jays, Yanks, and
Tampa.
And never underestimate Tampa. Basically all these other teams are copying what they're doing. So,
Moneyball. I mean,
Terry Hogan says, "Love Sean and the boys at Fandom Empire, but we have to do something about that Blue Jays hat." That's not happening. Jays hat's exactly where it should be.
Blue Jays country. You're not getting rid of the Blue Jays cap.
Yeah, I also kind of don't want to wear it tonight since we've talked about this on our little pre-show, but like Tanner Rourke's out there being just pathetic. So yeah, it's not good times. And now even their own media is bashing them, so that's always cool.
Sounds like Toronto.
Terry Hogan says, "What are you going to do, brother, when the Yankees run up on you?" Well, it didn't happen in the first series, so.
When are the Yankees going to run up on us?
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't they have to hit the ball and not strike out to run up on us?
I'll tell you what. If they get a chance at Tanner Rourke, oh man, that's going to be an ugly game. Anyways, we got a whole lot of shit to dive into this evening. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be a bit of a different show, so we'll see what happens and how it goes as Johnny goes from being Wilson to Johnny again. But at least it's we can work with it at this point. So, Johnny, how you doing, man?
Just peachy, actually. Parents both got their first shots this morning, so.
I don't want to say I got word officially, but sounds like I might be able to get mine soon. So, with all the, I don't want to go into hey, give me sympathy shit, but with all the health shit that I've been through and what I'm currently dealing with, it qualifies me to get it. Now it's just a question of, I won't lie, I don't want this to turn into pandemic talk, but in a nutshell, the whole blood clotting thing when you have a bit of a bleeding disorder is,
scary. It's not our age group. It's only affecting those in like the.
I did. Yeah. 55 is what I read. Yeah. But still, I'm human. Okay, I have some fear about it. So,
nothing wrong with the little fear. Fear is human.
For sure, totally. I think they're going to go in lockdown up here anyways. In terms of the schools, Toronto just went down, and all indications Durham is probably going to follow. So, Anyways, enough of pandemic talk. Rangers, Blue Jays 5-1. Yeah, that's because I could homer off Tanner Rourke. I have absolutely no problem saying that I've legitimately hit off a guy that can throw 90 before. Mind you, he was an MLB player, but at least Mike Judge's pitches had some movement to them. Tanner Rourke looks like he's throwing a beach ball out there. So, no, he'd probably strike me out.
I don't know if you've ever seen Major League 3. He's Doc.
Major League 3. Oh my God.
It's a deep cut.
Is it bad that I didn't know there was a Major League 3?
It doesn't have very many of the original cast. It's only got, I think, 3. I think.
I was going to say, got to be different here. Got to be different.
I think it's just Dorn, Serrano, and Tanaka are the only 3 from the original 2. But it's actually pretty good. It's got what's his name? Oh God, Darcy from Married with Children, whose name I can never remember.
Judge just went deep.
What? No, I'm not watching the Yankees game. What?
Fandom Empire
I turned
says.
my head and I'm like, right.
Fandom Empire says. Sorry. Toronto Freddy says. There's already a Halloween video game. If you want to get technical, there's one Halloween video game and a few other. No, there was a Halloween video game for Atari. We've seen Michael Myers pop up in Call of Duty Ghosts. We've seen Michael Myers pop up in Dead by Daylight. And I like Dead by Daylight, but graphically, the game lacks quite a bit, in my opinion. And then our buddy Reeve and I have been talking about just wanting to get back on Grand Theft Auto and just screw around on there and like go get as many stars as you can and run away. And
that's literally the only 2 officially licensed video games.
So, sorry, what?
So that's the only 2 Michael Myers video games, and I'm not counting the old one because that was what, Atari.
Atari, yeah. So Michael Myers is a stick man.
Does that really count?
Oh man, Kieran, you're old. Did you have an Atari?
Oh, that's pretty. That's cool.
You don't look old tonight, though, man. You're clean shaven. You got all that cleanness going on here.
Yeah, I'm looking good.
I just said that.
Yeah, no, I did not have an Atari. I had a Nintendo. Nintendo came out when I was, what was it, 3 or 4? When did Nintendo come out?
What Nintendo?
88 or
the
89?
Nintendo.
88 or 89?
Depends on
so that came out when I was 4. I think I got it when I was like 6 or 7. So Atari would already be out. I have played a few crazy old. My aunt has a ColecoVision, which I played, and it's kind of like an Atari.
Good God.
I'm sorry, ColecoVision?
Wow. Yeah. There's a deep cut.
Yeah.
There is a deep cut. We need to do a video game countdown soon. It's been too long.
Are you going to tell us about, her Pong game next?
Her what?
Pong.
Pong. Okay.
Pong.
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody know Pong?
I thought you were saying Palm.
She did have Pong on the ColecoVision. I don't know if maybe Pong was a game you could play whether you had a game or not or something. But I have played Pong on that
whole version of Pong specifically before the consoles were a thing.
The thing I remember the best about ColecoVision was there was a poker game, and the guy deals cards to you, and it looks like he's whipping them at you. So I thought it was kind of funny. He's be like, "Here's a fucking ace," and they like throw it in your face.
Let's go off.
For the record, since we weren't sure, NES October 85, North America.
85? Okay. Wow.
North America, yeah. Japan, the Famicom was 83, so.
Bloody hell.
85 is the year I was born, so. But I don't think anyone I knew had it at that point. Like, I don't think anyone even close to me had it.
That's crazy. 85. Nuts. Let's go off script.
Most of my friends and me were kind of poor, though, so.
Frank says he's played the Palm game daily. I believe it. Let's go off script here.
Not Palm, Frank.
Let's go off script here for a second. Chat. There's about 30 guys and gals in here. Why don't you take a second and tell us what your favorite old school video game is? So old school to some people might not be the same as old school to others. So think about when you were just, a young boy or girl playing that video game at somewhere between, the ages of 4 and 8 or something, or 4 and 9. In the chat, just let us know what your favorite old school video game to play is. And hell, if you want to include an arcade game, because you used to go to the old video game arcade, that's cool too. Let's see what the chat has to say about this. I'm really curious. I was going to do a bit on this a little bit later on, but we're just going to do it off the top now.
Are we going to be on till like 1 a.m? Because I could talk about this forever.
Well,
no, I'm not going to be on till 1 a.m.
Let's start with you, Kieran. Keep it brief, but like, what's your favorite old school video game if you had to choose one?
If I could choose only one, it would be the Nintendo game for the first Batman movie. It's fantastic. The graphics are good. Like for regular Nintendo, like everything looked like it was supposed to look like. It's relatively hard. It's not so hard that you can't beat it, except for the Joker at the end. He's fucking ridiculous. Took me 4 hours to beat him last time I played. It's great. And funny note in there, you have to fight this machine. It's like basically you have to like destroy parts that you're inside of a machine. And the music that plays on that part is Ace of Spades by Motorhead, like redone in an old video game. So if you listen to it, it's actually Ace of Spades, Motorhead, but done in like the Nintendo sounds that you can do. So it's fucking awesome. If you like Motorhead, I guess. I like Motorhead. But yeah, Batman original cartridge. If I was give a couple quick runner-ups, it would be the Ninja Turtles for Nintendo and the X-Men arcade game where you had the 6 joysticks, one for each character. That game was fucking amazing, and I probably pumped like $400 worth of quarters into that game in my lifetime.
Tommy, how about you, man? What's your favorite old school video game? How far back does it go for you?
That's a difficult question. I guess it really depends on how far back I want to go. I'm always run to for the RPGs. I'd give it to the original line of Pokemon games. Like
blue, red, yellow, all that stuff?
Yeah. I actually finished a run-through of Yellow a few months ago on 3DS Virtual Console. I still had that laying around.
I was definitely obsessed with those games. Johnny introduced them to me. He let me borrow one.
I will admit, though, the next gen does beat them for me as favorite games. But that was only released, the most recent one, the later one, the remake, Crystal, in 2000. So that's not too far back.
Johnny, how about you, man? Old school video game.
2000 was 21 years ago. Who feels old?
Me.
21 years ago.
I'm still young. I get up every morning and jog, guys.
You look pretty damn young, shaved up. You do.
It definitely decreases my age 10 years at least.
Johnny, what do you got?
Shaved, I've had people tell me I look like I'm 18. I don't believe them, but whatever. For me, it's a hard choice, but I'm gonna cheat a little bit because that's how I used to play video games 30 years ago.
You mean still?
Only some, but no, seriously. If I was stuck on a desert island and I could only have one game with me that I could play for the rest of my life, it would be the SNES Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World cartridge. It's a beautiful cartridge because it's like 7 games.
I remember.
Mario. They're all Mario at its peak, right? That's peak Mario. 1, 2, 3, Lost Levels, and Super Mario World all day. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Arcade, I guess, sounds pretty simple for me. It's WWF WrestleFest. That's one of the greatest arcade cabinets I've ever played. I mean, the X-Men game is amazing, and there's some other great arcade cabinets, but that one, for me, is the greatest No Mercy Revenge wrestling game ever made.
A game that I played a lot, and I mean a lot as a kid, was WWF King of the Ring.
Which one?
I think Brett was on the cover. I could be wrong.
He was on the cover of all of them. Which console? Because they were all very different.
I feel like I had the Game Boy.
I know you had the
Game Boy game, but then I put it into the. I don't know what it's called, but you put the Game Boy game into the thing, and you can play it on your TV.
So the Game Boy cartridge that we're talking about.
So yeah, that one I liked a lot. I liked the Super Star Wars games, but they frustrated the hell out of me as a kid because I just wasn't good enough to beat them. And then arcade game, it's probably you, either Superstars or WrestleFest. I used to love playing both of those. So they were both great. It's fun. We got some wrestling centric stuff going on in this show tonight. Let's see what the chat said. Let's go into the chat, the good old chatty chat. Jade said, where is she here? She said, "Does Reader Rabbit count?"
I mean, that was a PC game.
She also.
I mean, but if we're opening up to those, then Cross Country Canada has to be a choice.
Flinner says Super Smash Bros. On the N64. I don't consider that old school just because I was older by then.
It's like right on the cusp of being old school.
Because if that was the case, I'm going GoldenEye every single day, period. Jade also mentioned
Simpsons. It's all about your age, right? That's the important thing when you're thinking of old school. You know, when you think old school, you think games.
It's different for everybody, right? So
yeah, for us, we think SNES, Genesis, NES, end of NES.
Sonic 2. Sonic 2's another one. Wasn't a big fan of the first game.
Real.
Oh my god! Mortal Kombat 2 for Sega Genesis. There we go. I loved that fucking game.
I love that game.
Oh my god! I think I stopped after Mortal Kombat 3 though. I think that's
my favorite baseball game to play is this baseball game. I would take this baseball game.
Is this Roger Clemens baseball?
Any baseball game that gets played today.
Was that the Roger Clemens baseball with all the fake teams?
Yeah, Roger Clemens baseball.
Oh, the Boston Crabs.
I remember when.
Yeah.
I remember I got that.
I would rather play this game than play MLB 21.
Oh, God.
I love me some of those, but for me, I loved the Roger Clemens one, but ESPN Baseball Tonight, I love that because it had the Chris Berman. When you hit the home run, back, oh, just. I love Chris Berman.
I remember getting that Roger Clemens game, and then when I finally got to see the teams, it's like, what the hell? They're not real teams.
And then Roger's the only player that's real, and then you got like E Burger, which in my house was Eat Burger. That was his name.
Oh man. Jade said Simpsons Hit a Run or Barbie Adventures. Solid Saturday.
That's another one of those age things, right? Like, that's not old school to me.
Yeah, it all depends on the age.
Games. That's not old school.
Oh,
now,
man.
granted, if you were to ask your son an old school video game, he'd pick something from the 360. Like, you want to feel old.
For sure. Well, for sure. Yeah, actually, it'd probably be closer to Xbox One. Because when it came out in 2014, he was still young. That's getting into the video game phase for him. Poppy says Space Invaders. Solid Saturn has Super Mario 64. Toronto Freddy, Super Mario Brothers 3. That's a classic. That's most people's favorite. The Blue Jays game's about to get really ugly. The mop-up guy is not going well.
Get out of this. We did it against the Yankees several times.
Jay Ryan says Twisted Metal. I don't consider it old school, but man, I loved playing that game. That was fun.
How old was that game? What was it on?
PS1.
First Twisted Metal, I think, came out in like 95.
Yeah, it had the big case, right? It had one of the OG big cases. I think it was re-released in one of the typical CD cases, but it had the old school sort of.
I'm actually curious about that myself. Let's see, main games.
Merlot says Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap for Sega Master System. I've never heard of that. Anybody?
Sega Master System or the game?
Oh, the game. I've heard of Sega Master System.
Oh, okay.
I don't know many Master System games.
They just got out of it.
I had a friend who had that, and I would go to his house and play it a lot. So I'm familiar with a lot of the games, but I didn't actually own any of them.
Twisted Metal actually debuted in North America first. That didn't happen very often back then.
What else do we have? Don Moore says Space Duel for Atari. Love the look. Better version of Asteroids. Basically, you and another player can play tethered to each other, sharing fuel and lives. A lot of fun. Dean says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. I had a couple of Ninja Turtles games. Johnny, you and I used to play one of them. There was one that was like just strictly one player, and then there was another one that was like a side scroller where it was multiplayer and you'd go through the whole thing. And I know we used to play that one.
I'm not sure which one you're specifically. For me, Turtles in Time was my favorite. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
I don't know.
Turtles in Time is the best
Turtles
one.
in Time is amazing. That whole era of side-scroller beat-em-up games was so amazing. There were so many really good ones. Like even the 2 Power Rangers ones were pretty damn good.
I wasn't a fan
Power
of the
Rangers
first
the movie one is funny. The Power Rangers the movie game is called like Power Rangers the movie, the game featuring Ivan Ooze or something like that. It has a ridiculous long name.
It did have a weird. I think that was the Sega version that had the really long name.
Yeah.
Terry Hogan says Silent Hill. Well, I definitely don't consider that old school. Silent Hill was an incredible game. I actually really like the movie, too. I know a lot of people say there's not any good video game movies. I think there's been a few, and I do think that's one of them. So I really like Silent Hill. Fat Pat, Super Mario 3. Frank Riker says I would also play Leisure Suit Larry. And Toronto Freddy says, let me tell you about Motorhead.
I don't think we should encourage those kind of jokes.
Don Moore says another good series would be Wizardy, an old school Castlevania. Hard to choose one out of so many options. Terry Hogan says Siphon Filter. You know what's funny? I never played Siphon Filter, but or Siphon Filter, whatever the hell you want to call it. It was always on demo discs, though, right? So I'd always get to like play the first level. There was another game I had that with Metal Gear Solid. Never played a Metal Gear game, but would always get to play the demos. So we got some Donkey Kong love in here. So many excellent possibilities here. We need to keep moving, though.
I like to mention for GoldenEye, man, was that game. That game took over the world for a while, like a year.
No, it didn't just take over the world. It changed gaming moving forward. GoldenEye was the intro into multiplayer shooters, right? So
it created first-person shooters, period. Like before that, everything was all third-person, and there wasn't really much emphasis on multiplayer. And GoldenEye changed the game.
That was our version of like the online playing that we had today. Like everyone playing, what's that fucking game called?
That was our Call of Duty.
Fortnite, right? Or Call of Duty, yeah. Because everyone would get all the, bring a 64 over to someone's house and we had tournaments and I remember one time
some asshole always picks odd job and runs around and
there was the no odd job rule and some people would be like, okay, we're only playing with this gun, and some asshole
slappers only
it open, and it was crazy the tournaments that are still being held today for that game. So
what else do we got here? Oh, we got a super chat in from Marcus Hicks. He says, wouldn't it be cool if we got to play as Michael Myers as a downloadable character on Mortal Kombat 11? I'm sure, Halloween. I've heard a lot of rumors about it, but I've never once seen anything concrete.
I think people just say that because Freddy and Jason were both in it.
Right. And we've talked about it on this show before as much as we...
No, it was actually a year ago. It was a pretty big deal that, he was going to be in Mortal Kombat 11 with Pennywise.
It could be, because it would have been...
It never actually happened, or hasn't happened yet.
Well, it would have been a setup for Halloween Kills, right? So maybe it's something they're holding off on. I don't know. For me, it's like... I like old... I'd play, if we were all in the same room right now, I would absolutely play old school Mortal Kombat, old school Street Fighter. But if someone was like, yeah, let's play the new Mortal Kombat game, I'd just be like, no thanks. The whole 1v1 fighting thing, I'm done. If Kieran wants to bring over friggin' Star Wars Masters of Tiras Kasi or whatever, we'll play that and make fun of how terrible that looks. But I have no interest in playing those type of games, even newer styles. I feel like that type of game is outdated and really shouldn't even exist anymore.
Oh man, I love those games. I have both of them. Well,
I mean,
no,
I'll
not
play,
both
the,
of them.
I'll play the new ones if they go into like Game Pass or something, but only insofar as like the story modes.
Oh, just so we're clear, that doesn't include what are the DC games called? Zachary has one.
Injustice.
Yeah, that's different. That literally is telling a cinematic movie as it's going, right?
The Mortal Kombat one.
I have almost the entire run of the Injustice 1 comic book. The first 4 years of the omnibus.
The Mortal Kombat game does the same though. It's actually the same. It's made pretty much by the same.
Nice.
It's just in the Mortal Kombat universe instead of obviously the DC universe.
I know I've heard people clamor for something like that Star Wars wise, but even that I wouldn't be interested in it. Just like it'd be cool to
lend itself to it.
I'd watch the cutscene movie basically. Our boy Reaver says Simpsons Arcade. And it turns out Terry Hogan was being a bad boy, probably one of the trolls, and Frank took care of him. Thank you, Mr. Riker.
I do have
I figured that was it because
love of that
Terry
Simpsons
Hogan is
arcade
just
game.
another.
Hang on, what's Simpsons Arcade game? Because I know Simpsons Hit and Run. Was there are we talking something that came out on?
We're talking about an arcade cabinet
90s,
game.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So what? I don't recall ever seeing it.
It was a side scroller type. So I want to say very similar to X-Men.
Was it the Attack of the Mutants or something like that?
There was Attack of the Mutants. That was also an NES game, but there was just a Simpsons arcade cabinet. I think in like '89. So right around the same general time.
Darth Baca says Golden Axe for Sega Genesis. Frank Riker says, is there any love for Echo the Dolphin? I have no idea what that is.
Okay, Bart versus the Space Mutants and the Simpsons arcade cabinet came out the same general time.
Okay, pull it back a bit, Kieran. Echo the Dolphin. What you're the dolphin? Is it kind of like Jaws where you're the shark?
You are the dolphin, and I guess it would be comparable to like Sonic the Hedgehog in that sort of way.
Frank mentions a game I've never even heard of, and Kieran whips out the case for it.
I got my Sega and all my Sega games down here, so.
You've never heard of that game?
No.
I have both games here, actually.
Didn't Echo the Dolphin come with the console for a long time?
Well, I never got one new. Mine was used.
No, but I just mean in general. Like, usually those titles are more known.
I remember there was a Kieran. Maybe you have this one too. Doubt it, but there was a Jurassic Park side scroller game for the Sega Genesis that I loved, and like at the end of a lot of the levels, the T-Rex's head would like pop out. You'd have to try to like avoid it to finish the map, and there's another Echo the Dolphin game.
Yeah, that's Echo too.
You got Lion King there too.
Doing it. Oh, I got this fucking game, Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim. I have played that. Wow.
That's a fucking sweet game.
The cartoon in the mid-90s was awesome.
Wow. Earthworm Jim. I had that. Yep.
Double Dragon.
I had that game. I was terrible at it. We'll let Kieran do show and tell here for a couple minutes, and then we'll dive into Resident Evil. Curious to see what else he pulls out of his ass.
I got a couple more I'll show, and then that's it. Okay, so this game, super underrated, The Lost Vikings.
Never heard of it.
It's a puzzle game. So like you control all three guys, but you have to switch in between them. So like sometimes you'll have to like be one guy who has a shield, and then like put his arm up for the shield, and then get the other guy to jump on top. And like you have to hit a button and then switch to the other guy, and you have to figure things out puzzle wise. And
I
then
remember that type of thing being a fad there for a long time. So I never played that specifically, but I remember that type of game.
It's a great game. It's really awesome. And then Double Dragon and Battletoads.
Loved that game.
Same game.
Had that. Hardly ever played it.
That's the fucking.
Reaver says he has the Jurassic game. Now, there was two different ones. There was a Sega Genesis one, which was a side-scroller, and then there was a Super Nintendo one, which was much more ahead of its time.
It was open world like the
The only reason
Super Star Wars games.
Yeah, in fact, I only no, the Super Star Wars games aren't open world. Only very few aspects of them are.
Well, no,
they're mainly side
mean,
scrollers.
Like no, I don't mean the whole game, but I meant those parts of.
I played that at your place actually. That's the only time I ever got to play that Jurassic Park game. So,
it's probably still in my closet somewhere. I got a whole fucking giant, old school NES purple case filled with SNES cartridges somewhere.
Wow. Reaver just messages me. He's like, another home run for Texas. He must be ahead of me because I have the game on my phone right here. So I'm guessing I'm about to see a homer. Yep, there it is. It's gone. Thanks for spoiling it.
Bases, so.
Matt Whitfield sends in a very generous super chat. He says, can we seriously get some love for the Friday the 13th game on Nintendo? Geez. Nope. I never played it.
I'll give love to the Friday the 13th game on the Xbox One.
Never played it, but I'll say this about Friday the 13th on Nintendo, and that is, it really isn't about that game specifically, but when you're playing Friday the 13th on the Xbox One or the PlayStation or the PC, you can get 8-bit Jason, where he looks purple, just like he did back in that game. So, you have that. But when he gets close to you, it also plays the old school 8-bit music from the OG Friday the 13th game. And for whatever reason, you can get kind of freaked out in that game if you're, running from Jason, someone good's Jason. But whenever the 8-bit music starts playing, it would freak me out more than the normal Friday music. It's like, oh no, 8-bit Jason's coming to me. So yeah, no, that was always fun. Toronto Freddy says Primal Rage. Good stuff here, boys. Good stuff. Tommy B, I know some of these games were a little out of your wheelhouse. Do you have a...
Yeah, just a little.
Do you want to share maybe one more game before we move on that you used to play as a young Tommy that's not Pokemon that you just couldn't get enough of?
Yeah, I've talked about it before, and someone in the chat already brought it up. Super Mario 64. I was part of the generation. I was fortunate enough. I don't know if it was released here. Probably not, but I got a Nintendo 64 one holiday season, and Super Mario 64 has gone down as one of my favorite games of all time. Actually, I have a playthrough of it going on right now on the Switch. With the 3D All-Stars. So I've gone through the game a number of times. I've played the DS re-release. I got the Switch release going again. It's, there's a reason it's celebrated as one of the best platformers ever. So.
Frank Riker says, I'll shit a brick if Kieran has Duke Screw'em 3D for PC.
Duke Screw'em.
I did have Duke Nukem. I forget which one for my.
Yeah, he said Duke Screw'em.
I know. I don't have Duke Screw'em. I don't know what that is. But all I remember is the game starts and right away, my dad rented the game for me. I think, or no, bought it for me because it was a PC game. And the first thing that happens when you turn on is he's like, he says those alien bastards are gonna pay for shooting up my ride. And it was fucking hilarious. Duke Nukem was a great game.
Duke Nukem 3D was actually the first PC game I ever owned.
You know what? You know what's funny about that? Funny little story. Let's tell some story time here, Johnny. I remember being at Johnny's house as a young kid, and I don't know if his parents knew about this at this time.
Oh God, no.
But Johnny had, I don't know if it was a cheat code or a mod or whatever, but there was this button you could press in the strip club where the
that was actually the game. That's the game.
It's the game, yeah.
You could see the full-on animated nude, and us little boysomes.
Strippers, you hand them the single, and they'll just that's part of the game. No cheat code.
That's
just
if you press the button 2 or 3 times, they turn into aliens, and you have to kill them.
Yes.
Toronto Freddy says
on the 4th time you hand them the money that they turn into aliens.
Toronto Freddy says A Nightmare on Elm Street NES is so bad it's good. There are certainly games that are so bad that they are good. He also said, did anyone see the Loki trailer? I liked it. I liked the Loki trailer a lot. Any of you guys see it? Really brief thoughts here?
I haven't actually watched it yet.
I didn't know there was one.
There is a new one out. Yep.
I knew there was one out yesterday. I didn't get around to watching it.
Okay, so let's turn to Resident Evil here for a few, boys. Resident Evil. You would think that it's Marvel or Star Wars or DC with the metric shit ton of content they have coming out. Is that the dude from the 5th game?
He's from the 3rd game. It's Nemesis.
The 3rd game.
And he was in a movie as well.
Oh, okay. He looked like the big axe-wielding dude from the 5th game. Excuse me.
He chases after you and he just says stars all the time.
So this is what Resident Evil has coming out, boys. We have the movie, which I have my hopes up for. It's basically a faithful adaptation of the 1st and 2nd game put into one movie. It worries me because I don't even even if the movie's longer, if it ends up being 2 hours, 2.5 hours, I don't know how you tell both of those in that amount of time. But we'll see what they do. They showed a shot of the police station that we see in the 2nd game that looks just the one image that I've seen of it looks more like Resident Evil than any of the live action movies that we've seen to this date. So they have that coming. It's called Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. They have another animated movie coming. Kieran was talking about the first one in our pre-show. Where you see Leon and Claire reunite in an airport, and it just sort of goes on from there. That's a good one. I honestly believe the animated movies are better than the live action movies. I just didn't like the route they took with the live action movies, but they were still entertaining for what they were. So you have another animated movie coming. So that's 2. You have 2 new games coming. So you're looking at The Village, and I forget what the other one's called. I think the other one's like an online multiplayer game. So that's 4. And then you have at least one confirmed series in development following the Children of Wesker, which I believe is the Netflix series. And then there's apparently another one in development. So there's potentially 6 massive pieces of Resident Evil media coming our way in relatively short order. Johnny, over to you first, man. I know you're not the biggest Resident Evil guy. We've played it a bit in the past. Is this too much, or is it the right time to strike?
I mean, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, it's going to come down to quality. You know, I mean, their movies haven't always been good, but they haven't always been bad. And video game television seems to be a thing that's very popular right now. I mean, The Witcher made it a very important thing, a very good thing to do. So it's going to come down to quality. And I mean, if they can bang out a bunch of quality product in the universe without, alienating the player base, then I think they'll be perfectly fine and perfectly successful. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. We won't know until we see it. But it is a lot of quantity. We just got to wait and see how the quality stacks up.
Kieran, you're a big Resident Evil guy. We've seen a few markets oversaturate, whether it's in fandom or sports or whatever. Oversaturation is a thing. Do you think maybe they have too many irons in the fire, or is it just the right amount?
I mean, it depends on when these things all come out. I mean, if they come out staggered enough, it's not going to matter. And Resident Evil has a very dedicated fan base. It's like a niche thing, but people who like it really like it. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think for the average fan who's going to be like, oh yeah, Resident Evil, I used to play those games, they might be a little bit overwhelmed with like, wait, like which show am I watching? But that's been in the past for Resident Evil, because like when the problems with the movie was when the movie came out, they didn't market it as like this is supposed to be a companion to Resident Evil. It was like, oh, it's the Resident Evil movie. And it's supposed to like interweave through the timeline of the video games, but people wanted the video games as movies. And so that was the biggest problem with doing that. I mean, they've also like people were asking to play as Chris Redfield again forever, and it took all the way until Resident Evil 5, which came out forever later after the first one. And Resident Evil 5 isn't even the 5th game because there's your Code Veronica and all those other things in between. So like Resident Evil has always not cared what the fan base wanted in a way, and given you a whole bunch of things that not what you asked for. And like even with the movies, they kind of got back into some of the story and kind of brought some of the characters, but we never got that movie that was just, we just wanted to see the first couple games told as a movie, and we're going to get that, it looks like. So I would assume that Resident Evil fans would be very excited about that. I'm very excited about it. I loved all the games, and I mean, actually, to be honest, I was not a big fan of 5.
I like
6.
I
wasn't a big
5.
fan of 6.
Oh no, a lot of people weren't, just because they told shorter story campaigns. You got multiple of them, but they were shorter. And in terms of the gameplay, like they took control of your character so much. It's like, okay, now I can't do anything. My character is forced to walk slowly as they go through this dialogue. And they fucked up the mechanics for it, in my opinion.
The VR version of Resident Evil 7 will fucking
I heard it's amazing.
Play games with your head. It's fucked up. It's crazy. It's super scary. And oh man,
that's a must get.
I would highly recommend that for anyone who has the VR. Yeah, it's crazy. And I definitely screamed like a little girl several times every time I played it. And basically my brothers had to get through the game more than me, because I basically would turn around, freak out, and shoot a wall until I ran out of bullets. And then they'd be like, oh, fuck. Fine, go back to the other side. Fine, I'll save you. We'll go back to the save point. Because I would just fucking waste all the bullets on a wall or some spiders or something. But fantastic game. I'm not too worried for myself. I'm not worried as a Resident Evil fan that this will be oversaturated.
Actually, I had the information incorrect. There's a multiplayer game in the works. There is Resident Evil Village, and it's rumored that there is a remake of Resident Evil 4 coming. I know Resident Evil 4 is a huge game for a lot of people. A lot of people really like it. I think a lot of people just resonated well with Leon. They love Leon's character. And who wouldn't? Leon's amazing. But I don't know. 4 never really did it for me, because I just feel like so much of the game takes place in the daylight that, to me, Resident Evil is it's how do I put it? The trolls are going nuts in the chat. Thanks, Frank. They'll be trolls. It's cool, man. To me, Resident Evil, Halloween, Friday the 13th, maybe not Nightmare on Elm Street. I think that one can get away with it. But to me, those properties I just mentioned are meant to be nighttime. Imagine if Halloween Ends came out and the entire thing took place in the daylight. It would, I don't know, it wouldn't do it for me. So
I didn't find that was a problem for 4, but for 5, from what I played of 6, that was a bit of a problem.
Toronto Freddy says those guys need to leave their mommy's fucking basement. Yeah, oh man, it is what it is, Toronto Freddy. They're the type of guys that are keyboard warriors who will run their mouths from a distance, but if they were ever in front of you in person, they would cower over like a bunch of fucks that they are. Anyway, Tommy B, ever dive into Resident Evil at all? Anything? Game, movies?
Just in arcades, and I gotta be totally honest
arcades?
With you, I couldn't tell you which one is which.
Resident Evil was in an arcade? Is that a thing, guys?
Yeah, I'm 90% sure that Resident Evil has been on an arcade cabinet.
Apparently, Code Veronica 2. Or Survivor 2 Code Veronica got an arcade.
Interesting.
cabinet.
Interesting. Flinner chicken dinner. What's the deal with these trolls? They're 20-year-olds still sucking on their mama's tit, basically. So, anyways, I hear there's a character in Game of Thrones they probably like too that does that at an age that's inappropriate. Let's keep this ball rolling. Let's switch gears here. We're gonna get to a Halloween game. There's rumors that there might be one in the works. There's I've heard Dave McRae and other people talk about this when they're talking about a Halloween game. How cool would it be to get a Halloween game that's just like Grand Theft Auto? And it's like, it's cool and all. I'm not saying that
Michael
Dave
Myers
or anybody else is saying
shack some cars.
No. They're saying it in terms it's not just Dave. There's a bunch of them that are talking about a Halloween game, but when they talk about it, they're referring to it as if wouldn't it be cool to get this massive open world game that has all of Haddonfield or whatever, and it's just not realistic for a Halloween game. If you see a Halloween game, it's going to be like Friday the 13th. It's going to be like Dead by Daylight. I mean, hey, if they want to come up with a Halloween game that's just like Grand Theft Auto, sure, I'll buy it, but they're going to lose a bunch of money. Johnny, to you, sir, what would a realistic Halloween game look like? And sadly, it's not open world. It just isn't.
It has to be like Friday the 13th. Like, literally no other type of game lends itself well to this genre, because let's be honest. I mean, especially Halloween. Like, if we were talking like a Nightmare on Elm Street type game played like GTA, then okay, I could actually buy that, because the important distinction, Freddy talks, Michael doesn't. You can't have unless you're playing as someone being chased by Michael through a GTA-like environment, which could be plausible, you cannot play as Michael Myers in that environment because he doesn't talk. It doesn't lend itself to that experience. So it literally has to be an experience like Friday the 13th, which makes sense because you can have more confined open world in a much smaller environment, whereas instead of an entire city, you have, 4 or 5 blocks type thing on a much larger scale, compared to what they would actually put 4 or 5 blocks. You know what I'm trying to describe, but
for sure,
it just, an open world game like Grand Theft Auto, it doesn't work because the story doesn't work unless you're playing as Laurie. If you're playing as Laurie or a Laurie-esque character, then it could work because you're trying to get away from Michael. You're running into his shenanigans and cutscenes, and so you're seeing that stuff in cutscenes, and that makes sense. But again, it doesn't lend itself well to that type of environment.
It's to me, it's like you could do an open world game and it would be amazing. You could do it with almost any of the horror movie franchises, but Frank nailed it in the chat. It would not sell. People, Halloween fans especially, want to believe that, it's some, massive franchise that people will pay endless amounts of money for. But it's just simply not true. It's not. A Halloween movie is never going to make $1 billion. Let's be clear here. It's not. And video games in today's day and age cost an insane amount of money to make, which is why you see far less selection in your video games now. Look at the new consoles that launched. Is there anything exclusive for either Xbox or Sony right now that makes you go, I need to get that console? The answer is no. There's nothing. The only way it's getting done, Johnny, I think you said it better. You said it would be just like the Friday the 13th, right? Sorry, a bunch of going on right now. So, it would be that. It'd be a low-budget game. Some people might, I think there's people that bash the Friday the 13th game, but when you look at what it presented, it was kind of a horror movie game that looked like a graphic novel. Did it play great all the time? No, absolutely not. It's not perfect. However, it was basically everything you could want from it realistically. Low-budget game, die-hard fans. You take the scenery that you see in that game and it is virtually identical to how it appears in the movies. That's a faithful video game adaptation of a movie. And so that's what I look at for Halloween. Give me even 3 blocks of Haddonfield, and then, go give me the school from H2O. Give me the Myers house resurrection version of it where you can go underground and all that. Give me 5 or 6 different maps. Have it just be just like Friday the 13th. It'll sell enough for a low-budget game like that. That's how I envision a Halloween game. Kieran, how about you, man?
I pretty much agree with you on what is possible, and which makes sense because of the fan base is it's not Marvel. We can't just pump out a bunch of games. People will just fucking buy them because they have Spider-Man in them. Like it's. But if I was to dream up my own game, we have it. We have a perfect example here with my friend over here that I just pointed to earlier. This fucking guy is super scary in this game. He comes out from any angle. So I would do a game like a Resident Evil game. I would do a game where you have to, you pick up, you read things, you solve clues, you put things together. That type of game with Michael chasing after you. So it would have to be a story where you're maybe you're a cop trying to solve a murder, and Michael ends up being in the game and trying to get at you while you're trying to solve whatever murder that he's committed, something like that. And he could just come from any angle, because that's what happens in Resident Evil 3. He's fucking everywhere. You're trying to solve something, you're trying to figure something out, and you're like, okay, cool. I just put the gem in the clock, and then I press the button, and it's going to work. But as soon as you walk in the room, he's fucking there. Nemesis is there, and he fucking freaks you out. It's hard to turn around when you're playing those games. It's hard to get away from them. Basically, you just need that feeling where you're helpless and Michael's coming after you. I think that would be the only thing that you would need. So that's something that I would be interested in playing, especially since a lot of times you pick up a note and you're reading something about what's happening in Resident Evil, and then all of a sudden you exit that and some fucking guy comes after you, freaks you out. I think that would work perfectly. It doesn't have to be set in the canon timeline of the movies or anything. Just something that freaks you out and puts you in a helpless situation where Michael's coming after you would be good for me. I think you'd be able to do something crazy with a story that's never been told before. And yeah, I don't know. I guess that's just my love for Resident Evil games. But I can see a Resident Evil game where it's not all about Michael, but Michael's trying to get you during the game. So,
alrighty. Tommy B, how about you, man? What would you think a realistic Halloween game would entail?
I'm split on this. On one end, I think we would see something narrative. I guess what I really want is something almost Telltale-like.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and you get an original story. I don't want to see a movie turned into it. Maybe the movies, but I think I would be more interested in an original story.
I do think that is one way you would get a Halloween game that's story based, is something like Telltale. That's a very good point, man. Frank Riker says, "Let's face
except that
it."
Company's dead.
Yeah, I don't
me.
I don't even think you can purchase the Game of Thrones game anymore. Like if you go to
I
your,
didn't even know Game of Thrones had. A game
it was good.
them.
It was good. I think if you go to your store, it shows the game, but you can't purchase it.
I don't even look just because I've owned it for so long.
Reaver says Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain is one of the best video games ever created, in my opinion. Halloween would never get the budget that game got to be able to do. But my God, would that be insane? Because every time you do the story, it would be different. There's another game that's like those. Man, what are they called? There's two of them. They're PlayStation exclusives.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. That's it. Until Dawn. Again, I have a hard time believing Halloween would get that kind of budget.
I don't think the budget was really that high for Until Dawn.
But that's my point. I don't even think Halloween would get a mid-sized budget. It basically has to be a fan project that's successful and crowdfunded, much in the way Gun Media did their stuff. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I think it's good to keep realistic expectations when it comes to any horror movie video game. And, I'd be fine with more of what we got with Friday the 13th. And don't forget, Friday the 13th had a plethora of content that was still going to come out that we never got to see because of this stupid fucking lawsuit. There's no dedicated servers for that game now because of this stupid fucking lawsuit. So I don't think you'll have that issue with Halloween, but there's still many chefs in the kitchen, and you have to please a lot of parties to get one out. Then again, it may already be in production. We'll have to wait and see. T. Parker Evans says Detroit. I've never played Detroit. Frank Wright.
I haven't. It's been on my list for so long. That game is one I want to play.
It's a game called Detroit?
Yeah.
It's called Detroit Become Human. You play as a...
It's made by the same
android?
people from Heavy Rain, is it not? I know if you purchase Detroit on PlayStation, I think you get Heavy Rain with it.
What's a Quantum Dream game? So I think Quantum Dream did Heavy Rain?
I've been to Detroit. It's pretty fucking scary on its own.
Yeah, they're both Quantum Dream games.
I almost spit my drink all over my keyboard. Thanks, Kieran.
No offense to anyone who lives in Detroit, but man, it's a fucking scary place to go. I stopped there for gas one time, and I thought I was going to die.
It's an interesting game that the premise is there's no game over.
You are such a hater, Kieran. Jeez.
It's not a hater. It really happened. I stopped for gas, and some guy drove his truck onto the gas station that I was at, drove right up to me and said, "Hey, man, can you give me a boost? My car is dead." And I was like, "How the fuck did he drive up to me?
He just drove the car up to him."
And then my friend fucking locked me out of my own car, and I was like, "Open the fucking door!" And he's like, "It was like the dude was like, 'Hey, man, like, can you give me a boost? Like, can you help me?' And I was like, 'Open the door!' And I like fucking basically drove off like as fast as possible. I don't even know if I paid for my gas. Fucking.
Well, I'm sure you didn't drive away because that's not a thing.
I drove by two signs that say "Don't stop" for people because this is a site of a prison.
Oh.
Anyways,
why would there be a gas station that close to a prison?
Before we
no,
I
was driving through Detroit at the point, so this would have been later. But
okay, so this is Detroit. Okay, well then that's a different thing.
Let's keep this ball rolling before we offend everybody who watches this channel from Detroit.
I love Detroit.
Frank Riker says,
it's fucking scary.
Let's face it, Haddonfield is not the size of Vice City. You don't say. And he then adds in, make Halloween a shooter. You play as Loomis, shooting escaped patients from Smith Grove and the Cult of Thorn. And then Dean adds in, you have to shoot each enemy 6 times. You guys are on fire. I don't know if that's fake Michael Q, by the way, or Michael Q has joined Team Troll, or if Michael Q was involved from Team Troll from the beginning. I highly doubt that, considering we know where Michael Q is from. But yeah. Let's keep this ball rolling, though, ladies and gents. Not too much longer to go. So let's get to the weekend box office briefly. Not a discussion topic. Just wanted to point out that it's good news. Godzilla and Kong did very well. It counted as 5 days, which is obviously a bigger opening weekend than what you'd normally get, Easter weekend, etc. But it did very well in North America. I think it did like 50 million or in and around there, which is obviously a lot less than what it would do prior to the pandemic, but it's also way more than what people were expecting it to do. So this is a good sign for the box office moving forward. It'll be interesting to see how some bigger movies do as they come out. You'll notice that movies are still being delayed, though. You know, there's still, even though America's apparently opening up, if you've been to a Texas Rangers game recently, Yet,
That's just Texas. That's America. Part of America.
Yet, if you look into it, you still have studios backing their movies up. So, boys, I have a wrestling question for you guys. Tommy, not so much you. It's something that gets debated about on the internet all the time. We got to keep this short because we're running on time. So, Johnny, you can't get into a 25-minute shtick about will he or won't
Man,
he.
this better not be a 25-minute shtick question, then.
Well, then I'll have to cut you off. Johnny and Kieran, we're going to let Johnny go first. Does CM Punk ever return to pro wrestling in-ring action, even if it's not full-time? And if so, where?
Ever? Yes. Where? Wherever he wants.
Come on, give us more than that.
No, I feel like that's really the answer because it's going to come
down... It's a cop-out answer. If you had to predict...
But it's the truth. With Punk, I think it comes down to... It's not money. It's really not.
Okay, well, here's money, though.
Money at him and he'll do it. Yes.
You have a chance to win $1 million. Where's he going? If you get it right.
Probably AEW because they'll let him write his own ticket.
Yeah.
If he goes to WWE, it's on their story, on their writing staff. But if he goes to AEW, then he gets to write his own ticket and do whatever story intrigues him. And I think that's a much more enticing option for him at this point in his life, where it's not about money. It's about the enjoyment. And that's his problem. He lost the enjoyment of pro wrestling, and he hasn't found it yet.
He's starting to wait. He's starting to come back a little bit. He's not as cynical as he once was. But, that generally happens with age, too. So, it's been a long time since he's been there. Kieran, how about you? Does he ever wrestle again? And if so, where?
I think he does wrestle again. I think it'll be a one-off. It'll be a short thing. I would love to say AEW, but I don't think... if he wanted a match with Kenny Omega, he would have had it already. He would have done it already. I can't imagine that they've been throwing around money lately, so I don't think it's that they can't afford him. I think that he would. I know that New Japan likes to throw cards on in the U.S. now. I don't know if he would go to Japan. But I think that if they could get some sort of giant match where he could cross over there would be something that he might be interested in. I don't know as much about CM Punk. I'm a really big CM Punk fan, but I don't know a ton about, what he loves or doesn't love. That probably Johnny knows more about that than me.
Yeah, he was never big on Japan, even when he was active. I don't recall him ever really having any major Japanese.
Yeah, I can't think about him even tweeting or anything on New Japan matches or anything.
I think if he does, it's probably like Wrestle Kingdom at most.
But imagine if they contacted him, they were throwing a card in North America, and they were able to get one of their big guys down there to have a dream match with him. I don't know. I think maybe he might be interested in something like that. I would love to see him in AEW because AEW is the best wrestling show ever. I guess in my mind, I don't know. I love this period in wrestling right now more than anything other than when I was like 12, and I think that was just because I was 12. Like if I had this back then, I would be just as excited. So.
All right. Well, I mentioned to you guys. Sorry, Tommy. I did warn you that some of this you wouldn't be into. But
Snore.
We're going to end with some Star Wars talk, but before we do that, we got a little surprise. And the surprise is we're going to play some trivia.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
I'm with Tommy.
The trivia is wrestling trivia to celebrate WrestleMania.
With Johnny?
That does seem a little unfair.
Do you guys have... okay, so the way it works is... do you guys have pen and paper handy? Because there's no real easy way to do this. And I didn't want to drop it on you before the show. If not, no worries. We'll separate the questions.
I mean, I do. I don't know if you'll be able to read it.
No, yours blurs out. But if Kieran writes his down, and then you answer. If we can still make it work Star Wars style.
I just need to find paper, but I do have a pen.
Let me just digitally just stick this through the computer monitor. Will that work?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, it wouldn't work anyways, Johnny, because your camera keeps messing up. No paper, Kieran?
No.
Okay, so we'll separate the questions. Here we go. Let's have some fun with this. We're going to let Johnny go first. I know, Toronto Freddy, Z's, you don't like it. Oh, well. Johnny. Okay.
Yes.
Who am I? It's a game of who am I?
Okay.
Right. I won my first Intercontinental title against William Regal at WrestleMania. Who am I?
What?
10 seconds.
First
5.
Intercontinental title against William Regal at
4.
Edge.
Incorrect. We were looking for Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam was the answer.
Yeah, okay. I got the right, wrong match.
Jay Ryan says any Halloween.
That was the stupid Japanese shampoo commercial. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Man. Kieran, all right, here we go. Bret Hart went up against who to win his 4th WWF championship?
Oh, you suck.
Oh, sorry. Bret Hart's 4th WWE championship?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
10 seconds.
Yokozuna?
That's incorrect. Johnny, do you know the answer to this?
It was The Undertaker.
That is incorrect. That was his 5th WWF championship.
Oh, the 4th one was Sid.
No, again, incorrect.
Are you talking about his 4th championship total, with the tag team belts and everything?
No, his 4th WWF title was in that silly Final Four.
Oh, was that the Final
Shawn
Four?
Michaels lost his smile, needs to go away for a while. Clotheslines the Undertaker.
Then he lost it to Sid.
Lost it to Sid the next night.
That didn't happen at WrestleMania, though.
No, I never said it did.
That was at the In Your House after the.
Oh, I thought these were all WrestleMania.
Oh no! Sorry.
Anyways, go on.
All right. Well, I only have one more for each of you. So, Johnny, you're up next. What was Bret Hart's last Raw? Or sorry, pardon me. Who did Bret Hart lose his last match to on WWF Monday Night Raw before the screw job?
Rocky Maivia.
Specifically pinned. Sorry, not him doing the.
Come on! That was his last loss.
Yes. Specifically, that was a funny loss though. He wouldn't let go of that. What did he call that? The heart attack.
Yeah, the figure 4.
Yeah, around the ring post. I used to love that.
Yeah, it's because the Click didn't want Rock to go over, but Bret said, "Screw you guys." Smartest decision he made in that end of his career.
Oh, he was amazing as a heel. Do you know the answer?
Last pinfall loss on Raw?
Yep.
I don't know. The Patriot?
That's right. Oh, my God. He got it. It was the Patriot. Wow.
I just had to think if we was feuding at that period.
Wow. And Kieran, final wrestling trivia question, my man. Who was Goldberg's first WWE match against?
Oh, boo.
10 seconds.
Triple H?
That is incorrect. Johnny, you
I don't know
answer?
who he
Rock,
faced
no way
on.
out.
Pardon?
Sorry?
The Rock at No Way Out.
Yep. It was The Rock.
Okay.
Anyways, that's as big of a wrestling tribute as I'm going to give heading into WrestleMania week. Those of you that love wrestling, awesome. Good on you. Hopefully you guys
I
all...
know Matt Whitfield does. So Matt Whitfield's
do a
big
full-on
fan.
Kim and Sid name that wrestler.
No, for sure, but I'd want to prepare audio clips and everything, right? So,
I did say one day.
For sure. No, definitely. Maybe even a Patreon special for that one. So, Mr. Fuji was great. Mr. Fuji was awesome. And I mean, there's a plethora of Owen Hart stories that are worth retelling as well. So,
one of the best ribbers in the business.
Yeah. Oh man, when he used to get Stu going too. That's one guy I wouldn't want to get going. Yeah, for sure. Brett really is an awesome storyteller because that's where we've heard them from. And
we've heard them from everybody.
Man.
Bruce Pritchard tells a really good Owen Hart impersonating Stu story where it's actually not Owen. I don't know if you've ever heard this one. It was around 97. Bruce gets a call from Stu that he thinks is Owen. So it was when Michaels and Davey Boy were feuding over Diana in 96. You remember that one?
I don't.
I do.
Okay, but it was like spring, early summer of 96. It was when Davey Boy was feuding with Sean when he won the title for the first time over Diana, and she was in the middle. And Stu calls Bruce Pritchard, who's on the booking committee, about this story, and he's completely beating up Bruce about how, Diana's such a good girl. She'd never do this. She'd never do anything like that. And Bruce just goes off on Jim Cornette as this pervert who's booking this idea for his fantasy, sex life. Because he's positive it's Owen. So he's being raunchy, nasty, and disgusting. And he hangs up on Stu because he's sure it's Owen. Owen walks out of a room next door with Cornette. And he's like, "You son of a bitch. I know you just tried to rib me. I know it was you." And Owen's like, "There's no phone in that room."
Hilarious. The thing I find funny is how many people don't realize that Bruce Pritchard is actually Brother Love. It's hilarious. So
it's not difficult if you don't actually know that, because looking at the two of them, they look very different. Just because of like the red.
The red.
Yeah, the extreme amounts of makeup Vince convinced him like.
I think a lot of people learned in the end because he's in every single old school thing that they have, because he's fucking around all the time. He's like, they don't have to go anywhere to get him. So
he's probably been fired almost as many times as Jim Ross. If you know how many times Jim Ross has been fired, you know just how many times that is.
Oh man, my favorite Jim Ross segment, and then we'll get the hell off this because I think Tommy's about to turn into the Incredible Hulk. Have you ever watched any wrestling at all? Like one match ever, like maybe with your pops or at a friend's house or whatever?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you remember what the match was at all? Like, what's the most notable? No. Some guy against some other guy.
I'm betting, being a Northeast boy, it's probably WWF. Or it could be WCW.
I was say, he'd be pretty young in WWF.
I knew some of the big names, growing up. I had a game or two.
You'd have been young right in the heart of the Monday Night War.
For the N64. It was all right, but it wasn't my thing.
My favorite Jim Ross segment is when everyone thinks the Undertaker's coming out to save him, and like he's listing off all the things, and he's like, "Were you gonna kiss this man's ass?" And JR's like, "Hell no, I wasn't gonna kiss his ass." And Taker turns to him and he's like, "So you think you're better than me?" And I just fucking died. Oh my god, it's so heel Undertaker.
I'm not usually
was
one
amazing.
To say that a team's back in it, but yeah, it's 6-4 now.
Yeah, I know. I'm still watching, sadly. So
I didn't know if you were still watching.
I've been looking down at my phone like, oh, you just jinxed it.
Oh man,
a single.
Every time you guys talk about baseball,
so.
I check my fantasy baseball team. I'm fucking killing it in pitching, but I'm getting killed with my batters.
Frank Riker says, "Let's be serious. Tommy had those wrestling buddy pillows. He probably didn't, but I know who did."
You damn right I did. I still got them.
Oh God, he must be in some bad shape.
Not really.
Man. All right. So on the Halloween Kills front, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I can tell you. There's been so much talk. Like, people just assume that we're getting the poster soon. We got Halloween 18 poster on this month, so surely we must get Halloween Kills on this month. And I can tell you that according to who I talk to, they say there's literally nothing imminent. That could change. That could change in the span of a week with how things are going. The good box office weekend definitely helps. But anybody who's expecting anything concrete in April, I think is going to be really disappointed. And this shouldn't come as a surprise, because we talked about it on the show a few weeks ago, that you can't predict these things, because usually, You predict things by having a source or just understanding how the industry works and when things are normally released. And I think Kieran, Johnny, and I talked about at length how it's not normal times right now. It's just not. And anybody who thinks it is just not paying attention to what's going on. Dean and I got a funny thing going. So Dean's in some other Halloween groups, and someone will like say something just really fucking stupid about Halloween Kills when it comes to the trailer or the poster. So I'll see Dean comment on it. So then I'll comment to Dean without ever saying a word. I don't think I've said a word once yet. And it'll just be like facepalm gif or head banging off the desk gif or laughy face gif. Because it's just like, it doesn't stop. There's hundreds of people. And it's just like, why can't we just enjoy the poster and the trailer when it comes? The world is not going to end between now and then, I hope. I'm going to knock on some wood. You'll get it when you get... Frank had a point in the chat not too long ago. It's almost like people are expecting Blumhouse goes live and they unbox the Halloween Kills poster from a tube and it rolls out and they reveal it on a live stream like that. It's like, that's what people want. It's like, don't get me wrong. I'm excited for this fucking movie, but enough is enough. Dear Lord, holy fuck. Find something else to do. Oh, sorry. Apologies. Dean's like, we don't even have to say anything. It's hysterical. Literally, we haven't said a word to each other in these groups. It's just gif, 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 and that's how we're talking about it. It's hilarious. And I think other people in these groups are just like, what the fuck are these two going on about? And it's like, we're making fun of you, you idiot. Find something else. It's like, how dare they make us wait this long? Oh my God. It'll come when it comes. Sometimes you come fast, sometimes you come slow. This is coming slow. It's not coming fast, so. Oh my God. Solid Saturn. Don't even fucking throw out next week. It's not happening. Reaction poster video. I mean, let's be honest. There's going to be a poster that comes out and we're going to do a video on it or a live stream, and Dave's going to do a live stream, and everybody's going to do a live stream because that's just the way things work. It is. But it's like people, here's the poster. Look at the blood splatter at the bottom and the Halloween Kills and the burnt mask. What does it mean, guys? What does it do? It's like, oh my God. Like, really? There's only so much that I love Halloween, and I appreciate the fact that most of our following is following us because of Halloween stuff. But when I came on here to talk Halloween tonight with you guys, I was way more excited to talk about the possibility of a Halloween video game than anything else. And I still am. So, it is what it is. Some Star Wars talk out of the gate here. I was talking to our old buddy Thaden a couple days ago, and we were talking some Star Wars and what we sort of expect out of Kenobi and Andor, and there's still websites out there spreading a bunch of BS lies about the Kenobi series is coming in spring 2022, and so for shits and giggles, I'm like, Thaden, do you think Kenobi's coming in spring of 2022? And we both basically just laughed. They're just filming it now. Something that's supposed to be at least 6 hours long, 6 episodes, and they're going to have it ready in less than a year? No, that's not how these things work. Yeah, I just can't believe how much false bullshit gets put out there, and you get, Joe Musgrove in the chat who is just like, this person said it, so it must be true. There's going to be 19 more Halloween movies? Oh my God, I got to go tweet this.
Joe Musgrove, the baseball player?
I was wondering the same thing. Was that a baseball player?
What, Frank? What is Sean talking about coming fast? They have pills for that,
They've got pills to help you get it up, not to keep it going.
No, I mean you can keep going.
Yeah, that's what cock rings are for, right?
So, yeah.
I mean, if that's your cup of tea, I guess.
I'll never pass up an opportunity to say something super awkward. That's my favorite thing in life is to say things where people are like, "What the fuck? Like, why would he talk about that shit on air?" That's what I live for.
Let's have a little bit of fun with this, though. Halloween Kills. This is sort of the what if that I wanted to bring up a question for Halloween Kills. And then we'll dive back to Star Wars for a second, and then we'll end the show. Someone asked me the other day, I don't think they're going to do this. Frank Riker pointed out in the chat that they're probably not going to do this. And it's relevant to the pandemic. If they released Halloween Kills in theaters and on video on demand at the exact same time, won't happen, but on the exact same time, how are you going to see? You don't have to get into personal reasons why for family. What would your choice be right now as it stands? Tommy? You going to a theater or just watching it at home with the wifey?
I watch it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kieran?
Get my own snacks and all that.
Yeah, you won't have to pay $50 for a bag of gummies.
Depending on what the numbers are like, I would like to see it in the theater.
I would like to see it in the theater too, but if this variant stuff continues on the level that it is, and as we know, there is a player for the Vancouver Canucks who was, not a player, a staff member who had the vaccine and still tested positive for the variant and is in pretty bad shape right now. So it's a shit fest out there. I would try to go see it in a movie theater because I do think it deserves to be seen on a big screen. But I would also have to feel safe doing it. I don't want to be in there the entire time and watching it going, oh, hey, am I going to get really sick from this? So, that's the way I would look at it. Johnny, how about you?
Oh, definitely home.
Yeah. It's just the way things are, we might not like it, but yeah.
I'm okay with us and the wives getting together and, trying to watch it on the biggest screen as possible. We would be good too. That's a close second. If we could watch it together, would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be. Final Star Wars question, guys. When do we see Kenobi? Your honest guess. It's not spring 2022. I know they're gunning for holiday 2022, but even that kind of seems iffy. Tommy, when's Kenobi coming? Tell us. We want facts.
Yeah, because I'm really the person to get facts from.
The enthusiasm in his voice.
I don't even play like I'm full of shit. I just straight up say I don't know shit. I'd say holiday 2022.
Holiday 2022? Yeah, I can see it.
That's assuming. I mean, if they started filming, they did it with the idea in mind that they got a way to do it safely and be comfortable and so on and so forth. So I think if they did that, they're confident in what they're doing. I think we could rest assured with the holiday 2022.
And just think if they really wanted it close to Christmas, they could launch it December 23rd, 2022, which is a Friday. So that's my guess is November or December in 2022. But if there's the slightest delay, whether it's production-wise, COVID-related, whatever, it's getting backed up. Kieran, how about you, man?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about something this big and, it's going to be your, I think they'll have other things to play at that time. Why not sure. May the 4th, 2023? Very
possible. Like I'm pretty confident May the 4th, 2021 is going to be Mandalorian. They said spring 2021, so why not May the 4th like they're doing for Bad Batch? I think that
sorry, you mean 2022 then?
No, 2023. Oh, sorry, hang on.
You think that?
Oh yeah, 2022. I'm sorry,
forgetting
2022.
Bad Batch, you're saying the next one will be Mando, and then the one after that could be Kenobi.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, that would be my bet. I mean, it's always pretty easy to call out May the 4th. So.
No, absolutely. Johnny, how about you, man? By the way, these are guesses, predictions. These are by no means concrete
Are you talking about the puppet from Trailer Park Boys?
Oh my God.
The Walter Cronkite thing? Like, what?
What's it going to be, Johnny?
Ricky.
I'm going to take fall 22.
Fall. So you think it can come out by October?
I think October, November. Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our lovely show tonight. It was a bit of everywhere, which is kind of fun. I feel bad because this is definitely not Tommy's forte, some of these topics, but it was fun.
Wrestling. Yes, you had to talk about wrestling. And you even worked in sports games.
Yeah, you know. I love you, buddy. You know that.
We got to do what we got to do.
We'll do a whole episode dedicated to, what's that video game you like again? Kingdom Hearts. You guys can come on here and gush about Kingdom Hearts one night.
I can support that.
And I'll sit there and listen.
I don't know shit about that. I'll be like fucking Tommy. I'll bring my fucking hoodie and just fucking huddle over there. And...
Tommy, where can everybody find you at, my man?
You can find me hanging around the Fandom Empire Den, trying to post more. We're all trying to post more, but we have some good combos over there. Catch me on Twitter and Instagram at TommyB1650.
Johnny, where can everybody find you at, man?
Well, hidey ho, neighbor. You can find me here, there. I had to get a Wilson joke in there at some point. Now felt appropriate. You can find me here, there, and everywhere. You can find me Bros Before Pros Gaming, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not promising anything this week because it's WrestleMania week, but next week, MLB The Show 21, we'll definitely have something for that.
Have you done anything yet?
I recorded some stuff that did not work. Like it wasn't my problem. It was the it's happened to some YouTubers where like they'll record the video and then they go to the capture of the game and it's an empty file. I don't think anyone wants to watch me talk about a game they can't see for 20 minutes.
I have a hard time listening to you for 2 minutes.
I predict you'll get something out by summer. No, seriously, everybody's waiting to see what you do.
Next week it's the latest. We will have launch MLB. We might even do a midnight stream for I think it's next Wednesday?
420. 420.
No, it would actually be next Friday, 4/16.
No, it's 420.
It is 420, but if you get the Jackie Robinson edition, you get it 4 days early.
Oh, well, I'm getting the free with Xbox Live, whatever.
Well, that was my plan. Like I was gonna get the Jackie on the Xbox, but once they announced Game Pass, I figured I'll get the PS4 Jackie and then just get the free Xbox so that I've got whichever upgraded console I get first. I'll already have the show. So
fun. Kieran, where can everybody find you at, man? What do you got going with R&M?
Oh yeah, you can find me on the Rick and Morty Fan Show here at Fandom Empire. You can check me out the Rick and Morty Fan Show on Facebook. And Kieran_FE on Instagram. I have the Rick and Morty Fan Show on Twitter as well. I don't really use that one for my fan show stuff. I just use that one to follow everyone who works on the show and get news and stuff like that. So I mean that would be something if you just want to, I don't know, just see what I'm spying on. I don't know, but you can find me any one of those places. You can just add me to Facebook. Like I said before, like having friends, and I love all the guys in the chat. So a few people actually have added me regularly recently from our Fandom Empire fans, and super happy to do so. Can't wait to see Johnny's stream go up. Even though I was making a joke about it, like
2057.
He's a wealth of knowledge on any topic, so I think he'll be great at what he does. Because I
I'm sorry, am I dying? Was that actually a compliment from Kieran?
It was probably too nice of one.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I don't think I've ever experienced that before.
I know. I got to apologize for ragging on Detroit earlier too. So some American cities I've been to that I love.
Oh my God! No, enough.
Detroit.
He's muted. I muted him. That's right. I have that power. Where can everybody find you at, Kieran? We're not listing fucking 57 cities that you like to go to.
Vegas.
Oh my God! Fuck you! Fuck you very much. Anyway,
I love the U.S. and I go there all the time. But yeah, you can find me online. I'm not hard to find. Love you guys. Love the chat. Love Fandom Empire.
$10 super chat in from my GIF buddy, Dean. We'll keep having those secret conversations in all these groups as people make themselves out to be idiots. And big thanks to our chat mod team, Jade, Frank, Toronto Freddy, and then you got we got Matt Whitfield, who was in here a little earlier, and then obviously Tommy and Kieran. The support means the world, ladies and gentlemen. It really honestly does. So thanks for taking care of those dumbass trolls. They gone. You can check us out on Facebook, the Fandom Empire Den. I can't stress enough. People have asked in the chat a bunch of times, where can we find you more regularly? Go on there. Join the group, the Fandom Empire Den. Check out the pages, Fandom Empire. Check the group out, the Rick and Morty Fan Show. Check out Halloween Newsnet. There's so much shit you can find us on. Twitter and Instagrams at FandomEmpireNow. And if you want to join our Patreon, we do a Halloween show over there each month. We do Fandom Empire Underground over there each month. And Matt Whitfield and I need to get to Camp Haddonfield very shortly. This weekend will be a Lampkin Lane show Sunday night. www.patreon.com/FandomEmpire. Join today, because that is the way. For Tommy, Kieran, and Johnny, I don't love 57 American cities. I'm out of here. Good night, everybody.